Good afternoon, everyone. On this July 29th of 2021, I'm Diana Broderson, and welcome to Our City. Thank you for joining us here on the Mayor's Our City show. We're so glad to have you with us. Today is going to be our monthly update on the Grandview Revitalization Project. I just have a couple of quick announcements. First of all, the Muscatine Sister Cities is having an event tonight on Zoom from 6 to 7. You may have heard that this is the 35th anniversary of the Muscatine Sister Cities here in Muscatine. And what they've chosen to do to celebrate their anniversary this year is take 1 month and highlight one of their sister cities' relationships all year long. And so each one of the people that is on their team that specializes in that particular relationship, that country, that city, that person is responsible for the gathering of that particular month. Well, this month is extra special because it's celebrating Muscatine as a sister city. So we have, I think we have 9 now, and they always count Muscatine as well, and you know, the relationships that they've built. So tonight looks to be really exciting. It's from 6 to 7 on Zoom. You can go to the Muscatine Sister City Facebook or website and be able to get that log on link so that you can just click right on it. I've participated in a few of them and watched a couple of them, and they are really informative. So I think you'll be happy to if you join on. Next, I think it's time we have to talk just a little bit about the vaccine. I just got an email this morning that Muscatine is now considered to be a high transmission county. Not good news. We've been tripling each week how many new cases we have. And so the CDC is asking that everybody mask up just to make sure we can try to get us back in a better position again. You know, this Delta variant, I think, has thrown another wrench in that none of us want to see. So please, please, please be careful. That Delta variant is believed to be the dominant strain right here in Muscatine. As of July 21, 56% of the individuals in Muscatine County are fully vaccinated. 23% of them are not, and they still need either their first or second dose. And 21% of the people in Muscatine County are 12 or under 12 and not eligible. There's plenty of opportunity out there to get vaccinated. You can just walk in most pharmacies. Wednesdays and Fridays, public health is doing a walk-in clinic, no appointment necessary. And one thing that they did ask me to share is there's some people that have gotten their first vaccine, and for whatever reason, they didn't make their second appointment to get their second one. Maybe they were ill, maybe they were out of town, who knows. But you may be wondering, what do you do if you're in that situation? They said, no worries, just go right on in and get your second one. You don't have to worry about it. It'll be just fine. So if you are one of those that missed your second, just go ahead and stop into any of the pharmacies. Please remember that these are all at no cost. If you have insurance, they do ask you to show your insurance card. If you don't, there will be no cost to you at all. Lastly, I just wanted to remind folks, as we continue trying to make the intersections be blocked for less time at the railroad crossings, please, if you are stopped for more than 10 minutes, make sure that you call that number at the crossing, and that's going to log that data in there. So we'll have that information when we communicate with the railroad and make sure that that we're getting folks moving along safely. And now we get to visit with our 2 councilwomen, Nadine Brockert and Peggy Gordon. They've been working on the Grandview Revitalization Project, which includes the reconstruction project and a lot of other things. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor.
Here.
Yes, I'm so glad you guys both came. Do you have something specific you want to highlight today? I know we have the pillars. It might not hurt to talk about the pillars again.
Something that came from our meeting with Jody on Tuesday was that perhaps in 2 or 3 weeks we will have made enough progress on the bluff side of the highway in order to get some of that paved, and so we can switch over to the river side of the highway. Don't have any idea yet what percent completion is as far as the total project, but I would invite anyone and everyone who has questions or concerns about the project to join us at 9 o'clock in the morning, Friday, at the old Taco John's on Grandview Avenue next to Precision Machine. And we will be happy to answer any and all questions, listen to citizen concerns, and just give everybody a better feel for what's actually going on.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Nadine. That is something that our public works team started a couple of projects ago, where they have that meeting for anybody that's impacted, anybody that lives there, works there, travels through there frequently, and has questions or just wants to get more information. Having that weekly opportunity to go and talk, and I even heard Pat, our city engineer, once say, if you are tied up and can't make that meeting, give us a call. We'll arrange another time to stop in and visit with you. I mean, that's service.
Exactly, and it keeps the rumor mill down
Yes,
to a
it
roar.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It is a great service. Nadine's religious about going. I went to once on 2nd Street and once or twice on Grandview. Grandview's a little touchy to get to, but you can get there from Oregon Street if you go slowly behind the convenience store and Redberry. And honestly, you can drive around the back close to the railway and get over there. So you can get there by car, or like I did as I walked across the street, they had it patted down and you could get across from like ACC Accessories. So if you have that chance, go to the meeting, because it is very informative, but go around the back and just drive slowly.
Yes.
Or if you're kind of a wuss like me, you can drive across on Bond Street between Mike and Rod's and ACC and get to that parking lot itself.
Yeah. But I just think it's a great opportunity to be able to ask questions. Everybody doesn't have the same question. So it might be, I know council does a really good job of trying to publicly answer the questions that they get frequently, but you might have a question nobody else has. So this is really a good opportunity to be able to get your questions answered. And you might not always get the answer that you want, but you'll get the answer, and you'll also get an explanation of why. And sometimes if we just know why something's happening. And I know everything being kind of tore up with the construction is not anybody's favorite part. I think my area where we live is coming up soon on the sewer separation project. And I know they told my husband, our house is going to be like the hub. We're going to be like it. And you might want to not be here for a year. I'm like, so I know, we all know and feel that, construction is just, even if you get stuff done at your home. We recently had our bathrooms remodeled. During the construction, it's not good, but after, everybody's happy. So we just got to weather the storm as best we can.
Yep, exactly. And in addition to meeting, like Pat Lynch and the city project team, you get to meet the contractor too. And, like Jamie Heyer and, was down at the meetings, and just the opportunity to see them face to face, and because they're working very hard at all these projects, the team on 2nd Street, which is a different contractor. What a great opportunity. You usually don't get that chance,
No.
And Grandview is, it looks rough. It rides rough, as we know.
And it is rough.
But but we're 3 to 4 months away from phase 1 being done. If we look at it, we got August, September, October, probably maybe goes into a little November. We don't know. We need to get that percent from Brian. But we're weathering that first phase.
And I do
So-
think we all have to remember, you know, somebody said the other day, and they hit the nail on the head, and I know we've talked about it many times. We can guess how long something's going to take based on what all needs to be done. But until they get in there, just like on your home projects, until you get in there, you don't know what all you're going to find. You know, what did they find? This huge LP tank buried, you know, a few weeks back. Now they got to stop what they're doing, get that out, and check all the dirt for mitigation in case there was any hazardous chemicals. You know, all of those things set us back, and you just don't know what to expect. They build in, I think they do a pretty good job of building in time for unexpected things that might pop up, but still, you don't know.
That's true. That's very true. And in the case of any construction project this year, we've got supply chain issues from COVID that could and may have affected some of our projects, but things have gotten back on track, and we're all very grateful for that. But still, we have to keep in mind that these are roads that have been there for a while. The records that we kept way back when aren't as good as the records we maybe keep now, and you're going to run into stuff you didn't know was there.
Sure.
Like digging into an old house. That's full of surprises too.
I think it was downtown they discovered an entire tree buried long ways underneath the ground. And then I know, you just don't know what they bury under there. Or sometimes they hit stuff that might be protected, and then they've got to stop and talk to the EPA and make sure that that's going well. So besides the reconstruction, go ahead.
No, well, it looks like the Oregon Street corner is getting close to being done, which will be huge. But yeah, that's sort of the big piece. The first pillar is the Grandview reconstruction. You know, sort of like kicked off a lot of this. The next pillar is economic development. It's probably the one that has had less attention so far. There's always stuff going on in the background. And we've just got to work with our partners at the chamber and see what we can report out. You know, there's always this huge wish list of things we want that are new businesses, opportunities, things like that. But I don't know that there's anything there to report out. But we are focused. We have a pillar. We want to drive some of this. And like we said at the beginning, this is not a 1 year and done project. This is going to take a few years for us to finish. So I don't know, Nadine, if there's anything else on economic development.
Peg and I had a very interesting discussion with the developer in that area, and he's got ideas that we're very happy to entertain. So we hope once things settle down a little bit that we will be able to see more and more new businesses going in down there. I was going to hit residential support. The Heart and Soul, Megan has had 223 responses, but she's been all over town. She's been to Almost Friday Fest, Farmers Market, and a couple other places. So really only 5% of the responses were specifically to the Grandview reconstruction, revitalization. But it was encouraging to her because she can find different keywords that have popped up in all of her responses. And of those responses, 75 were adults, 40 were youth. She's handed out 40 coloring sheets, and there are 70 what they call heart cards, what I love about Muscatine. So, and that work will continue once Megan goes back to Iowa State in the next few weeks. So
I just think that is amazing. You know, the way that we are actually out there actively seeking input from the people that live and work in the community in the South End, the Grandview project, and making sure that the changes that are happening are what they want and welcome in
Mhm.
their neighborhood. Because I always think of it as
Mhm.
that's their neighborhood.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. Well, the heart and soul is our community department's program that they're using to gather information. They found this program, so it's not just for Grandview. We're sort of focusing on that area, but when they collect this data, to Nadine's point, they're asking you what of the 1-3 zones do you live in, so they can sort of narrow that down for us and say, okay, here's what we're hearing in the Grandview area, as opposed to maybe the Cedar Mulberry or the Park Avenue area. So they're repurposing that program and using it for multiple areas in the city, which is great. We get to just use it to try to gather information for the Grandview Corridor project, which is awesome. But I would encourage people to go out. I think they've got the survey online on the city site.
Mhm.
Go out if you don't see them at the farmer's market or around town. Go out and take the survey. It won't take very long. Or there's a QR code. You can scan it. And if you like to do that type of thing from your phone, I'd encourage you to do it, because the more results she gets or Jody's team gets,
Mhm.
the better off we are with the amount of information. That way we can hear from the residents.
Mhm.
I had a
They-
little hard time finding it. Can you tell us how to find that on Facebook or website?
I'm going to have to find it. So
Okay.
maybe,
I remembered she told us it was under something else, but I couldn't find it.
They're hoping to be able to make it a separate website so that it's easier to find and it's not buried in a lot of stuff.
Okay,
The
good.
other thing that Megan mentioned the other day is that they're planning some neighborhood events in South End to get folks together and get them to share what they like about their neighborhoods and how we can help improve the neighborhood, and just the things that they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
we also brainstormed the other day with the resident program some interesting programs that, as we were brainstorming on Tuesday at our meeting, that we might be able to roll out as early as this fall. I don't think we want to announce anything yet, but we
No.
had some really good ideas
Mhm.
outside the box, but something that, low-hanging fruit, some quick hits that we can get something done and help people. So maybe in your August update, Mayor, we can have some programming,
That'd be
minimal
great.
cost to the city, but, nice impact to the residents. So.
Yep. What's the next pillar?
There's recreation.
Oh, yeah.
And again, we don't have anything to report there because there is a separate team working on that. Kelsey and another group, no doubt working with Parks and Rec and stuff, because we do have tons of great recreation opportunities down there that already exist, but they're going to be enhancing. So we have to be respectful of their announcements and their planning, so it's not quite ready. But there is a subgroup. There's subgroups on each one of these. So maybe we can ask them for a report out in August.
Well, that'd be great too, because
Yeah.
I mean, they are wealthy in terms of recreation, but it can always be better.
Yes.
Always be better. They are the Grandview corridor and its surrounding area is really what brings a lot of people to Muscatine.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can showcase some of the things that we have down there and make them better. They're the face of our community. And I can tell you, I heard from a former council member about 2 weeks ago. He came to me and he said, I got to tell you, I was given a compliment because they thought I was still a council member and I'm not anymore. But he said, a guy came up to me and said, I don't know what you guys are doing in the city, but things are so much better than they used to be. He said, our customer service down here at Kent Stein Park, he said, we came here with a tournament And he said it used to be that people were crabby and we didn't really feel like we were getting our needs met and we were thinking about going somewhere else, but not anymore. He said we were treated so great and everybody was so pleased. And he said when we got done with the tournaments, we all packed and went into restaurants and ate. And he said, we love your community and whatever you guys are doing, keep it up because it is great. And so the gentleman that was telling me this, he said, so I'm not a council member anymore, but I just sat there and lived it all up.
Yeah.
So I said,
because it doesn't start with.
What a kudos to our recreation
Yeah.
team. You know, they really are our face and they're doing an amazing job.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yep.
Yep.
And they
need to hear those things.
They do, because you know, when people come and have a good experience, then they're going to come back again. And that's best for all of us. And so even making our Parks and Recreation better through this revitalization project is just going to make everything even more positive for experiences, both from those who live here and those who come as guests. Yep. I'm excited to see what we get out of the Parks and Recreation pillar.
I am too.
It makes 3 of us.
Yeah. So what's the next?
Because then we can show it on a plan, and we can at least have an idea of when it might happen and make it more visual. And that was our other idea from Tuesday is, especially on the streets, and Nadine and Mary, you guys had a great idea that on our project plan, it'd be nice to show our little street breakout so people sort of know, oh, this one's scheduled for September, this one was August, and where we're at. So, and hopefully we could do that same thing with our recreation. You know, new toy X is going to be in 2022. At least put it on the plan so we can see it.
Yes.
You know,
something to look forward to. I was reading something the other day that said we all need stuff to look forward to, and even though we can't make this revitalization project happen overnight, like you've both said many times, this is a 2-year project. But when we can see and put our finger on what we can look forward to, that gives us a little taste right now and helps us through the rough times of the reconstruction pieces when we know what we're going to see at the end.
And it might reduce a few anxiety or questions. You know it's going to come, but you can go, okay, I can see it on the horizon and stuff. You know, so the more information you have, the better off you are.
Yep.
So, so then the last pillar would be business. So we have economic development. That's sort of new development, you know. But we have so many great businesses, so they deserve their own pillar. So we have business. And I think we'll see that heating up here in August. Like Nadine said, we had a great meeting with a local developer who does a lot in the Grandview area. Wonderful conversation. And we're going to have to tap into him to help us get to the businesses. They're busy. They're trying to survive COVID. And we don't have a great inventory of all the businesses. So if you don't have that list to go off of, how do you invite people to meetings and stuff? So that's sort of what we're going to work on next week. We've set aside some time and we're going to go through the business list that was given to us and say, yep, these are good, these aren't, this is who we need to reach out to and things like that. And also find the ones that aren't on the list and, you know, and then schedule a meeting and try to invite everybody we can. But, you know, maybe if we can get 20 or 30 meetings, businesses, and have a conversation as to what would help them. You know, are there facade programs? Are there grants that we can do? We've got the small business grants that we've had a lot of luck with lately, which is wonderful. But do people know about it? How do we help the businesses? So we need to hear from them. And we have a lot of great businesses.
You know, I think that really is something crucial, and I'm so grateful that business support was included as well as economic development. Sometimes I think it's easy for us to say, oh, we need this new and we need that new and we need this. What about those businesses that have been down there trucking along all these years to support all of the folks that live and work in that area, you know, I mean, they need our thanks and our attention and our assistance just as much, if not more, as bringing in these new businesses. And so I love it that we're looking at being able to support in a variety of ways our current businesses as a way of thanking them for their, you know, many years of support down in the South End and the Grandview area.
Yeah, their loyalty.
Yes.
You know, and it's the simple things because we've heard again, you know, all of our conversations and brainstorming. It's like we need better signage.
Yep.
People, you know, they drive around the bypass, which is great if that's where you need to go. But how can we bring those visitors from the soccer complex and go, oh, if I go straight on Grandview, there's a great bicycle shop. There's a restaurant there. There's gas stations, or I can get to downtown faster than I can by going up to the bypass. So, you know, as we think about things like that, what would help them? And if I was them, I'd say, yeah, give me some signage to help Wayfair get people down here to me, you know, so.
And even
simple things like that.
Marketing, yeah. How many times do we say, oh, there's nowhere to go eat? You know, putting together a list of, you know, what all places can you eat at in South End? You know, maybe a marketing piece to make sure that people know, hey, have you thought about this place lately? Or what about, oh yeah, you know, and you know, let's get the traffic moving for them. We're all sad when a business goes out, but by the same token, we need to thank those that didn't.
Right. And once they're there, we need to support them. But in order to support them, we need to know they're there.
We need to know they're there. And that wayfinding, marketing, yes, is one of those ways. And helping them, you know, maybe they want to fix up their outside. You know, maybe they need a new sign themselves, you know, or new customer seating area, you know, or some landscaping, you know, looking at ways that we can help with those kinds of things.
Or even maybe just power washing. You know, once all the construction is done, we've got a lot of dusty buildings down there.
You bet. And, you know, they are busy just trying to keep their heads above water right now.
Yes.
And they don't have the time to try to do these extra over and above. But if we can help with some of those things to show our appreciation for all of their service to the community, we want to do that.
Well, it might spark some ideas for them. Like, you know, Nadine said, power washing. It's like, well, that's not a difficult thing to think about, but where can I get the funds? Do I do that next year and I can brighten it up? Like you said, there's going to be a lot of construction dust and stuff. But yeah, just power washing your building, sometimes they'll just give it that extra added cleanup. It's not a new paint job or a new roof. It's just a simple cleanup or
clean.
Clean up, maybe a little landscaping, who knows? You know, the parking lots, you know, parking lots get pretty rugged sometimes with garbage or, you know, weeds growing up where they don't need to be. I swear weeds can grow anywhere. And you got to.
Yeah, with our focus on the business, if we can start having those conversations with the business owners as a group and then individually, then we can, you know, spark some ideas. They can plan for it maybe. We can come up with programs, but we can go, you know, their lead time to get things done might be a little longer. But they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
My slow time's in May, and right before, I mean, we start seeing all these ball teams come in and stuff. Maybe I'd like to do something to freshen up next May of 22.
Sure.
Great. Let's work towards that.
And what are we doing to let all the ball teams know where they can go eat down there?
Yeah. Oh, this is like 1.2 miles away from Kent Stein.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and or even working with the businesses to do a special, you know, baseball special on this day and drive traffic to them. Yeah, all kinds of ideas. I just love it when, especially now with the different pillars, that each pillar has a team with a leader and then as many people want to help. So if any of these pillars are interesting to people, they can reach out and serve on one of the teams, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We welcome any and all.
That's great. Because, you know, some might be more interesting to some than others. And And with each one, they can sit around and brainstorm ideas. And I think it's a great way for us to achieve the results that we're all looking for, revitalizing our whole area downtown and serving the people down there and letting them know how much they're appreciated.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So what do we have coming up in the next month then before our next project? Or
we're meeting about businesses next week to try to clean up the list and see what's usable and get a business meeting scheduled.
Okay.
So we can get some invites out and start having those conversations. That's one thing. We need to meet with the chamber on the economic development to see how we could partner and what they've got in the works and what we need to do. Do we need to start calling, I hate cold calls, but sometimes we might have to do it if there's some needs. And then I think we just asked the recreation to give us an update on where they're at.
Sure.
They should be getting pretty close to some announcements.
Oh, great. Great. Well, I think we should have a pretty good update next month then. At least get some ideas.
Yeah.
Floating there for stuff for us to look forward to. And then do you anticipate this moving on throughout the winter? I know the reconstruction is going to be done in October, but is the revitalization, at least planning, going to continue?
I would anticipate that it would, just so we have things mapped out for where we want to start in the spring. So yeah, I don't see any gaps at all. We're going to keep going.
We've got to, especially if we want to set up some programs or go after some grant monies. I'll tell you, Jody and her team, or actually the whole city team, is amazing with finding funding, grant funding. Is there something out there that we can go after that'll help a neighborhood and stuff? So that should be an ongoing, non-seasonal activity.
Yep.
So this build up the programs, this get people sort of lined up. So then come spring, maybe we go after some of the more outdoor type activities and stuff.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Well, we look forward to next month hearing about the update on where we're at. Any final thoughts? Anything we forgot to talk about?
Pray for dry weather.
Okay, yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Only rain at night and only a little bit.
Yeah. Who should people reach out to? I'm sorry, Peggy, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mayor.
I was just going to say, if people are interested in serving on one of these pillar teams, who should they reach out to? One of you?
Sure.
I would say both of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both of us.
So just
if they want to give Jody a call at City Hall, they can do that.
Perfect. Yep. Are you going to say something, Peggy?
No, that was it. Just reach out to us. Our emails are on the city site, and you just look up council, and you'll have our email addresses and send it. I think that's probably the best way. We'll get you assigned to something.
And please don't be intimidated by it. Even if you've never served on a committee or a task force or anything like that, it's just a group of people that care, sitting around talking about things that they would like to see and brainstorming ideas. And then, maybe 2 or 3 of those ideas will work out. Maybe they won't, but it's just sitting around talking with other people that care. And so please don't be intimidated or think you're not professional or not. It's nothing like that. It's just a group of people that care about the South End. That's it. So raise your hand and say, I want to help. They'd love to have you.
You bet.
Well, yes, thank you all so much. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Nadine.
Thank you.
Councilwomen, for joining us and for all your hard work on this project. Please remember that there's no city council meeting tonight. There's actually 5 Thursdays this month, and we only have them the first 3. So, but you're welcome to go to the Sister City meeting virtually from 6 to 7 if you like. Next week, our guest on the Our City show is Christy Roby Williams. She's the Director of Public Health for Muscatine County, and we should be able to ask a bunch of questions and get some answers on the state of affairs that we're in, and hopefully we have some good coming down the horizon for all of us. Have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you here next week on Our City.